Hey everyone, this is Joe at QuadSpecs, and today we have the Eachine QX65 courtesy of Banggood.com, and what they sent us was the basic version. It's the FreeSky model, but they also have options for FlySky and Spectrum. So depending on what platform you're flying, there's a model that's available to you. So what comes in the basic version is a screwdriver, the manual, to get everything set up. It also comes with a prop removal tool. It has one 250 milliamp hour high voltage battery. We've got a reading of 30 and 60 C for the discharge rate. And then it also comes with a USB charger that is switchable between 4.2 and 4.35 volts. And you'll notice that the charger is also compatible with the 1.25 JST connector and the 2.0 connector. So that actually brings us to one of my only complaints with this model, is that it comes shipped with the old basic 1.25 JST connector, which unfortunately most people tend to upgrade away from that connector, and the same goes for the battery that it ships with. So one thing I would like to say is if you already have some 1.25 JST batteries, I don't think I'd swap out this connector right away, because this thing had a surprising amount of power with that stock connector, even though most people like to change it out to get a little more juice flowing from these batteries. So going over the basics of what's involved with the QX65, it's essentially meant to be a whoop style racer. So it comes shipped with the new B-Core version 2.0 flight controller, which has a built-in OSD functionality, and the camera also comes with that same functionality. So this looks to be like a Eachine custom camera. I couldn't find any information about the model number that's on here relating to anything that's out available on the market as a standalone all-in-one camera. So nothing wrong there, just something to note. It's a 700 TVL camera with 130 degree viewing angle, I believe. So nothing fancy. It actually has pretty good color. It's not the best camera out there, but it's also definitely not the worst camera. So it's on par with a lot of the other cameras that we use in our 65 millimeter brushed frames. So the motors that come on this are the 68,000 RPM, which relates to roughly 18,300 kV motors. So they are definitely some high performance motors. You can see the wires on here. It's kind of nice. They've got them trimmed to just about the right length. And then they also have these O-rings here to kind of act as some wire management. This frame is very similar to the Eachine E010S. So if you're familiar with that frame, there's not much really different here, except for maybe this battery compartment here. There's no stopper. It's meant for the thinner stick style batteries. So pretty similar. The blades on here are similar to the King Kong 31 millimeter tri-blades. Essentially look just like them, act just like them, but work very well on here. The canopy on here is really cool. It looks like it's going to be something where you can adjust the angle to your liking, but the problem is it really doesn't allow for that kind of adjustment. We open this thing up, and this camera actually fits into this little piece of plastic here, and it's got a clip on the top, on the back side. But what we noticed, if you try to change the camera angle, the antenna kind of gets stuck and it pushes the camera outside of that little clip on the top, and then you lose the rigidity of the camera being inside that this little plastic fitting. It loses its snugness. So We tried loosening these screws up and doing some more adjustments, but it really is kind of limited to the angle. Luckily, it's at a decent angle, and we didn't have any issues when we were flying it, so definitely not a problem, just something to note. One thing we did notice is this camera, the antenna here attaches to the middle in between the VTX and the camera itself, in between those two boards. So if you ever go to replace this, it'd be quite a bit of pain to try to fit a soldering iron in there. So luckily this thing has a canopy on it. It should protect it from a lot of crashes. You probably won't have an issue with this getting torn off, but if you do, that could be a problem. So let's go ahead and take a look at how much this weighs. It is advertised, let's see here, to come in around 20 grams, not including the batteries. So let's take a look at what we get here on the scale. We get 20.5, so not too far off. For reference, I've got another V2 set up here with a canopy from Amazon, 21.1 grams, and an original B core with a similar canopy, and the cockroach frame, it's 20.4, so about the same weight as the Eachine. It really surprises me because this one, the Eachine QX65, seems to have more plastic on this canopy, but it comes in at a reasonable weight there. And then we also have just a very standard canopyless Beta 65 that comes in at 19.5. So you save about a gram, which is expected for a canopy like we've got here on the QX65. All right, let's see this thing in action. So you'll notice we mostly flew in angle mode, and that's because we don't do a lot of acro flying indoors. We fly, you know, races and close quarters with tight turns, so we like to fly in stabilized mode. You can, you know, we tried this out in acro mode. You change the PIDs a little bit to get it tuned just right, but we really didn't take the time to get it tuned in too well. The main thing is that these motors are smooth. This thing is very stable, and it has a lot of power. Like, you know, I've mentioned probably 3 times now, that smaller 1.25 connector wasn't an issue. It may be in the future. You can always replace it with a 2.0. But right out of the box, it's actually really surprising. There's times where I had to rise up there to get into that high gate, and they had plenty of punch to get through. So whether you're new to the hobby, it's stable, it's steady, it's easy to fly, or if you are a veteran, this thing has a lot of power. You can really give it some punch and fly through those gates real quick. So and for the price, you can't beat it. So I hope you liked the video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you did. And make sure you check out the links below in the description if you're interested in getting one of these. And don't forget to use the coupon code for an extra 8% off. That puts it somewhere around $52.50 after the discount. So make sure you check back for more videos, and we'll see you next time.